Guru Kripa Kevalam. Namaste everyone. Very warm welcome to Satsang today. Sadguru Sri Moji Baba ki Jai. I feel that the lies are easy for you now. Is it? In the sense that to drop the lies is easy for you now. It is to drop the truth that you're struggling with. Is it? The entire seeker identity is built on the notion of trying to get to some ultimate truth. But as I've been showing all of you that within this conceptual boundary of biggest lie and biggest truth is all your concepts, including the boundary itself. This defines your mental construct or your boundaries of your limitations that you put onto yourself. And the basis for this boundary is the centrality of this idea of me. Because everything is relative to this me. You will not hold on to it even as a truth unless it has some relationship with you. So that locus, that relationship is dependent on this big lie called me. And it is our ideas of truth also which are feeding into this lie of me. The truth is not in any concept. But this conceptual me feeds on just any concepts that we have. So, what is it that we are unwilling to let go of? I've been saying that if this me no longer pointed to anything at all, then that sounds very easy and straightforward. But you have to tell me whether does it have to point to you to something which you define as me? You need it to be to mean something, this me. The one that seemingly is stuck in this delusion of relationships, freedom, security, body. Does that have any real, tangible existence? This me. So Satsang is a strange place where you come. It's a strange place where you come. You come to feel that here I can come so that I can then be rid of the me. Or the me can be now rid of the me. So in a way it is like that. Okay, so now be rid of it. You came. Unless you wanted something else from Satsang, which is clearly not available here. You see? If you came to be rid of the me, then be free from it. Let it not refer to anything at all. Especially anything starting with but. You see, let it not be limited by anything at all. especially that which starts with but. And we play this game every day for many years. We've been playing this game. You see? You see? So this, when we are empty of this doubt, but something should happen, or what about that experience in the past that happened? You see? Any limiting notion, any boundary, all notions are limiting. You see? Which you attach to yourself, you see? Then gives rise to, or gives credence to this belief system called ego. Okay, so let's go slowly since I'm losing some of you. One is clear that you're not going to get anything here. That is clear. Yeah, you see, it is not going to be an additive process that you will add something to yourself here. That much is clear, no? You see. So if that is not clear, be clear about that. This process of spirituality is not about adding something to the idea you have about yourself and therefore you will become spirit. Spirituality does not mean adding spirit to person. You see? It is only negating the person. It is only negating any idea of separation that you have. You see? So that much is clear, right? We are not going to really add something to ourselves. We are only going to remove. That is important to see first. It's a process of cleaning up, it is a process of removal. You can call it dust, you can call it thorns, you can call it whatever the sages have called it. Delusion. You see? Now what is being asked of you? What is being asked of you to be rid of? So it's clear that nothing new will be given to you. What is being asked of you to be rid of? This me, we said. This notion of me. This belief system called me. You see? So now there's a trick. The trick is that you are rid of it now. You see? This is not a magic trick. It is just naturally gifted to us. You are rid of the me. Nobody can tell me that they carried the me into this freshness now. You see? Then, why does it seem like sometimes that we do only after? What happens? Come on, children. Okay, let's go slowly. Nothing new will be given to you. Yes? What has to be rid of is this false sense of separation, separate self, me. This is already you are rid of it. But only sometimes it feels like you are not. When does it seem like you are not? When you believe a concept, a thought, a notion. When you come into a notional existence, when you leave behind your notionless existence. You see? So that's all that this is about. Anybody wants anything more than this? It is not here. You see? This is all there is here. If somebody wants experience, no guarantee. You see? If somebody wants some label or certificate, no guarantee. You see? That's all this is. To remove this false me, all that is needed is to not pick up a notion about yourself. That's all I've said since the beginning of my satsang career. In in millions of different ways. That's all I've actually said. You see? Because if we convey it to be some sort of an additive process, that you will get something, then that would be a big lie in itself. You see? That means that what the sages have said, the truth does not come and go. You see? The self is always here, it is the unchanging. All these would not be true, because then you would need to add something to yourself already to become the self. You see? So this we cannot say. So what does it take for us to drop the next notion that comes from the seller of notions called the mind? That would also be a notion. Any condition would also be an idea. Now it's your move. See.
The mind says, if it was so easy.
Yes.
In a way it is. It's not enough.
It says it was so easy, and also says in a way it is.
But
Yes. Yeah.
and you've heard it over the times a lot. There's a difference between you and me. Not essentially, you point that out, but from believing, and I'm still more caught up in the illusion. And there's
Yeah. So let's work at that level. It's fine. So you're also saying fundamentally there is no difference. Like essentially there is no difference. Okay. So what is the difference?
I still believe too much this me thing.
Yes. So that's the only difference. If there is,
Yeah.
then that is the only difference. Then stop it.
But
Yeah. But stop it.
Okay.
What would you, if you would not believe whatever the but said, would that feel like a denial to you?
Well, then comes another but.
Yeah.
It says like it is a denial.
It is a denial.
Yeah, it says that.
Yes,
It
yes,
doesn't.
yes. So then if it feels like a denial, what you can do is that you can allow it to come and examine its veracity, examine its truthiness. You see, that also we done. We looked at all these concepts that come and we looked at their truth value and we see that it's all meaningless. You see? So once we have done that, you see, and see that whatever is up on offer from the mind, you see, has zero truth value. You see, then if to let that go, if it is not true anyway, how would that be a denial?
Because it seems sometimes that even though in some moments, then I have to refer to the past, it has been seen that those concepts are, I don't know, they have no truth value.
Yeah.
But then I would have to refer to the past, also to past experience where this was just evident by itself. And then it's like, oh yeah, but you remember, you are just awareness because you've seen that before. So, it's like...
But now I'm saying not even that.
Yeah.
Not replacing one concept with another.
And it's just nothing.
Not even that, my dear.
Yeah, I know. What to say then about that?
Nothing is just also a concept, is it?
Like there's no concept there.
Like, have you ever had the experience of nothing? I know, you give the nothing to the mind, it makes a dark, empty space or something, but that is not nothing, it is still dark and empty.
What I mean with nothing is like there's kind of no focus on anything, like, you know, nothing like to really like, there's nothing to focus on, let's say.
Yes, nothing to hold on to in a way.
Yeah, that's what I mean, nothing.
Yes, this is exactly what I mean. When I say the me is left without a reference point. What would you lose in that?
Just a lot of trouble.
Exactly. Couldn't have said it better. In a way, I feel like with some of you, it just feels like there needs to be some sort of, you feel like there needs to be some sort of culmination to the seeker identity which you had. Not just you, I'm saying generally in some culmination, some sort of an end to this sort of seeking, you see? Like some sort of fruitful ending, you see? Like some sort of conclusion. I was seeker, now I'm free. You see, some sort of this way, you see? But what if it was just this? I once had a chat like this many years ago. With another girl, we were talking like this, and she said to me, I'm saying with full honesty, I'm not done with this play. You see? So I can just feel like that. Actually, this me, I still have some expectations from it. You see? Like something. So it's good to shine our light a little bit on that without any sense of like guilt or unworthiness or something. If I was to ask you, what do you want from this me? Is there some expectation from it?
We had that Satsang that conversation before, and what I said then was, I like to be free of fear, some particular kind of fear, so that I would like to have from Satsang, let's say.
Now that's why these days I've also been showing you that because you've never actually had the same experience twice, these labels that we use, including fear, you see, are pointing to something which we don't really have a handle on. You see, we just presume them to be true. Like suppose fear meant jelly bean.
It's kind of scary. So you never know what you get, you know. Not
that one, not the.
Not that one.
That is which one that my daughter got.
Yeah,
was it?
that one.
That was a different one. What do they call? You remember?
I don't know.
What would happen is that for those who don't know this one, so in the jelly bean box, you would have the same color ones, but they could be terrible, like dog food or something flavored, or really nice flavor, you see? Strawberry or chocolate or something. You see, you take a pic. But these are not the jelly bean. Like even to say that I want to be free from fear implies that you have a good understanding of what fear is. You see? But we don't know.
We don't know if I say it's just an unpleasant feeling.
Yes, but that is... Okay, examine this. It's going to sound very strange. Okay. But I want to submit to all of you that the difference between what we call pleasant feelings and unpleasant feelings is also mostly notional. I was going to say all notional. Maybe that would be too much to hear. Is it?
In a way, you're right, and I've seen that very young actually. But I mean, I don't know why I'm speaking so much.
It's okay.
But then, even if a very if an emotion that we call pleasant,
Yeah.
like, I don't know, some excitement about something,
Yeah.
is getting too strong, I even find it unpleasant because
Yeah.
it affects the body too much. So in a way, it's just at a certain point, if I have to throw up because of some excitement, I wouldn't call it pleasant. You know, that's pretty evident. So I don't know. Sorry for
Okay, a
this.
simpler way of saying this is that in this seeming human experience as consciousness, the spectrum of really unpleasant to really pleasant, you see, is not as spread out as we might believe it to be. You see? The gap between pleasant and unpleasant is not so much. When we do a true examination of pain, for example, you just look at it. We find elements of pleasure in even pain. You see? And like you mentioned, that even when there's like pleasure, you can find pain in that. What is defined as pleasure or pain? You see? But one thing I want to really propose to all of you is that you're adding that layer of knowing or concept to it does not better your experience anyway. You see, like the idea that I must be free from my pain does not actually help us be rid of it, even if we conclude that that is pain. You see, the resistance only seems to prolong it or make it more difficult to bear. Yeah. And again, I keep making this statement that I'm not speaking about the responses or reactions or actions of the body. Okay? I'm just speaking about our inner attitude towards it. Okay? If the body goes to a Panadol and has it, it's okay.
That's true.
Okay? Or if a visit has to be made to the hospital, that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. Okay? I'm speaking about our inner attitude of not being open because we have labeled it as this or that.
And we think that by resisting it will go away.
Huh?
And we
Yes.
think that by resisting it will go away.
We think that.
Yeah.
The mind always claims that it is helping you.
Yeah. But it gets more power.
Huh?
But by resistance it gets more power.
Yes, yeah, that it seems to play out that way. And it is these terms that come up that cause this seeming struggle, because you are saying, so what do we want from this me? In that moment there was actually no experience of fear, you see, but because the term was there, you see, it was able to use that term to pull out memories in a way, or point to memories of past experiences of fear. You see? If we had no such terminology, you see? Then that whole compartment is empty. Like if that label was empty, if our conclusions about past experiences were not stored there. So it sounds too much if I say forget about the notion of fear.
Oh, let's see if it happens. I think I'll remember, but then I can try to forget again when I remember.
Yeah. It's okay.
Because that, you know, this
Just for
concept,
now. In a sense, just for now. We are not projecting into the future.
Okay. Yeah. See that when concepts are dropped, and it happens in an instant. That's really not so difficult.
Yes.
But then to somehow another thing creeps in, saying, yeah, like the dropping is independent of any concept.
Yes.
It doesn't need any concept that
Yes.
I'm awareness, so drop it. It's
Exactly.
just dropping,
Yes.
finished.
Yes.
But then the concept comes in. Look, you keep dropping it because remember your awareness. You know, this comes in. My God, it's
Yeah.
a holy concept,
Yeah.
right? But then it's still there.
That's
and
what I'm
it's-
saying, that this cleanup job happens on all our concepts, independent of in which compartment we stored them. You see? And that's why I started satsang today by saying that that which you consider to be lies anyway, you could have believed them in the past, but you already considered them to be lies, so they are gone. You see, you withdrawn the truth value from them. But that which you still continue to be some sort of a truth, okay, it has to be withdrawn even from that. Because that to which the term awareness presumably is pointing to does not actually have the term awareness. You see? And there can be some uh, a sense of not wanting to let go of these, because it can feel like, but this is all that I've got. As a seeker for whatever many years, this is all that I've got. I've got the notion of awareness, I have the notion of the absolute, I have the notion of the self. You see? But now if I leave those also, then what is going to be left? Yeah.
In a strange way, it's like that, like you said, like having followed Guruji maybe for a year before I came to Bangalore. Like, so I was it was resonating what he said, but in a way I didn't get it. I was like, I have no clue what he's talking about, but it just feels right. And when I was here with you like 2 years ago, maybe I had a more clear seeing, and afterwards it made sense what he said. And since then I kind of understand it also in a mental way, like not just abstract. So in a way that's also my kind of, walking stick. And it also feels good in a way, because then it makes sense, and you have something to guide yourself with, maybe because you already have seen a bit more than before. So I don't know how to get rid of that, because it's there, and it's in a way it's supportive, I feel. In a way it's also in the way, I guess. Yes.
There are, in everything phenomenal, there's an upside and a downside. You see? There is nothing which is inherently either just positive or inherently either just negative. You see? So I can resonate with what you're saying, that after being in satsang, then you might feel like, yes, I heard that earlier, I had no sense of what it meant, but now it's clear this is what it was pointing to. So that is good in a way, you see. But what really, in a sense, what I want to show you, see, is more radical than that. Like more radical than not what is being said in satsang, more radical than even the greatest conclusion or understanding that you can have about yourself. And I know that it can feel supportive that I have a sense of what is actually being said in satsang or something like this. You see? But But if you were to not rely on any conclusion now whatsoever, then maybe as a little bit of reassurance, I want to tell you that you might have an even greater, deeper knowingness about what Guruji was sharing. You see? Like, already it's not bad to say, okay, now it's been spelled out a little more, so now I have a better understanding of it. But as we go beyond this understanding, we might have a fear that, okay, I'll lose all of this, what I've understood. But what I'm suggesting is that you might have a deeper sense of it, which may not be conceptual or intellectual, you see? But just like when something is obvious, you see, then you don't need the concept of it. Actually, there's no trouble lost on Guru. You see, in the sense that
I was just about to say, it's like, so what to do now? This concept is there, this experience has been there, no, it's kind of in the way or not, I don't, so, so what to do? Nothing.
in the sense that it's not even there now. You see, that presumption that it is there now is not true. It came and it went. And it can come back again. But what about?
Yeah. How can you read my mind?
I can tell from your face where what has been given attention to.
Tell me.
The mind.
No, just, and I just.
It's that example that I shared. No? It's a very simple one, but it's very much what happens mostly in satsang, which is like that, where I'm saying, don't listen to that voice, it is speaking nonsense. And because our habit is that, we go to that very voice and say, he's speaking that, he's saying that this voice is speaking nonsense, what do you think about that? So it's just that little bit of breaking that habit is helpful, because this one is like just waiting for you to come to it and say, okay, you want to know whether I'm speaking nonsense or not, I'll tell you. You see? And I'll say, yeah, I know, because so much satsang has happened. It will say, yeah, I know. What he's saying is true in a way, but also in a way. It is something like that.
That's not necessarily now what I thought, but I thought I'll still come to satsang.
Huh?
I will still come to satsang, keep coming to satsang.
Yeah.
That's just what I thought. Even if things are, I know what to speak, but still.
Like, all it has to offer is definitions about you. And all I'm saying is don't make any reference. Don't make any pointers. Let me not point anywhere. Let this chameleon eye not point to any of these things.
As you saying, referenceless existence, referenceless existence.
Referenceless existence is the same as notionless.
Yeah. Once you make a reference, no.
Gone. A question in the middle. Me is a super persistent idea in my head. It's hardwired, it seems, Father. Actually, it's gone. You see, it's gone. Gone. It's gone. That it is hardwired is also just an idea. That it is super persistent is also just an idea. If it was so persistent, you see, it would survive this now. All your references about you are gone now, unless you think about it. So that thinking is needed before you can make a reference. All your references about yourself are gone now, unless you think about it. Therefore, that thinking is needed before you can make a reference about yourself. You see, and when I'm saying thinking, I'm not talking about the process of appearance of thoughts, but I'm talking about giving our assent to it, giving our belief to it, saying that yes, this is truth. Okay, so you say, if me idea is at the root, I would love to be free from it, free of it. You are, you see. You are free from it, of it. It cannot hold you actually. It is struggling to catch up with you. Every moment it is the poor guy chasing you down. You've already become fresh and new, infinite. Now the mind is trying to catch up. But you see, once you, yeah, exactly, wait. So when you identify with that, then you feel like you're the struggler, because this poor mind is trying to catch up with being. You see? You're free from it. You're fresh and new right now in this moment. Who's the one that is struggling? This one trying to catch up with it. But give me a moment. I'll tell you why you're not free. You see? It needs time. You don't. You see? It needs an explanation. You don't. It needs these references. The mind, not you. And when you, as consciousness, identify as if you are the mind, then it can seem like you are struggling. Can you struggle with no mind?
You are not struggling when you are sleeping.
Exactly. You're not struggling now. But now.
Yeah.
Now you see. Struggle with no mind. And right now there is no mind. You see? Right now you are not a object in time. The mind is just an appearance within time. Me is a super persistent idea in my head. It's hardwired, it seems. These are just thoughts. What do you mean when you say I am free of it now? Literally. There's nothing to explain. You are free of it now. Unless you think about it. Yeah? If the me idea is the root, I would love to be free of it. You are. What is the Zen Master thing I posted on Facebook the other day? Many of us go out looking for the donkey, riding the donkey. And once we see that we are mounting this donkey, then we refuse to get off it in a way. These are the master said, these are the only two sicknesses he encounters. You see? Looking for the donkey. Where's the mind? Like, what is it? My mind is saying that the mind is causing all this trouble. It's a nice one. Yeah. There are two sicknesses in my school. First is to go looking for the donkey while riding the donkey. It's like Bhagavan said, no? That the thief posing as the policeman trying to catch the thief. You see? And he said the second sickness is the refusal to get off it once you mounted it. You see? And this is what? This refusal to get off the donkey once you mount it is our need to be right. You see? I have invested in this concept, so maybe it will work out. No, I really want it to work out. In a way, the story of the prodigal son. Father is waiting for him to come back home. All the riches, everything is available. But because I have taken that step, then my ego does not let me bow down and come back. You see? Just to not admit I was wrong, that my true place is in my father's house. It is, I'll make it and show you. You see? I'll make it and show you. I'll make it. You see? So he mounted the donkey and now he's like, I'm going to make this donkey walk me to heaven. You see? Find a way. So trying to find happiness while continuing to ride our ego is like that. Because we've invested in it, these ideas about ourselves, we feel like at least something should come out of it. All of us can see by now that the ego is a lost cause or no? You see? Then write it off. You can see that it's a lost cause. Yes, right. Don't try to get some scraps from it to recover some investment, at least something. You know, like it could still work if I become enlightened. You see? It could still work. All of this struggle could be worthwhile if I become enlightened. You see? But that itself becomes the donkey. Let go of all expectations, all references to this one, to this me. What did the sage say after that? He said, how to be free of this donkey? See that you are the donkey. He said, this me. I would have said this me is just the thing. This me is the donkey. And then he went further and said the world is the donkey. But once you let go of the me as the donkey, then it is easily seen that the world is also just another appearance. You don't have to let go of the world. You just have to let go of the me in a sense. And then already you've got I was going to let him go. Already you have let go of the world. You see? Like now, in your notionless existence, can you say world, not world? Are these distinctions still there? You see, like the mind will tell you a story, but these appearances still appear and they come and they go. You see, but this is also notions. You see, conclusions. All conclusions are just notions. You see? You say, but I still am. I am. You see? But the I am is not dependent on, but I still am. You see, that is still a notion. Like I was saying the other day, to sit, you don't have to say, I am sitting, I am sitting. You see? You just feel like, at least this concept I need to exist. But you don't need any concept to exist. You see? All of this just makes you boxed into your limited egoic idea about yourself. Should we make a master list of our limitation? Master list of all of these things that are just made up. Like our projections into the future, that this is what my future should be like. Can throw it or no?
Yes.
This is what the future should be like. Gone.
Indeed, gone.
Anybody wants it can call out now. Otherwise, no good can come out of them. Agreed? Gone. No idea about the future. Good. All regrets from the past. All regrets from the past. Any good can come out of those? No. It looks like you need some time to. Do I feel like my Sangha is a lot emptier than they actually are? Oh, it is going to be like full on, yes. Like regrets from the past. Give us a moment. I was going to get to the most tricky one, which is pride about things from the past. But regret also, we are not so sure. All our notions about these things, all our notions are in time, making a delusion about independent existence, a separate self, and trying to define ourselves in these ways, and it can safely be thrown away, all of this. Anything we are willing to throw out the bigger boxes, one of just like bigger way. What about the notion of time itself? What about space? Yeah, actually, have you ever experienced time? Then why have the idea of it?
Mind.
Huh?
Mind.
Mind?
Mind projects time.
Yes. Mind, projects notions about time.
Time itself is emotion. So
Time itself is emotion. Exactly. So, what about space? Experience it? Never experienced it. We cannot truly say where what is, if there is anything called distance in reality. Like half jokingly I say, that all of this could just be projected on the eye, and you might feel like, oh, that is there, but actually just light here. But that also gives too much credence to the body identity. So we have no way of confirming either time or space. You see? And all our ideas about life are in time and space. Okay, what can we throw out? You lead, you drive this bus, all of you. What can we throw out? Say,
Indian bus?
yeah. Any,
Rubbish.
first throw out this
Rubbish.
this benchmark Indian and Western.
I was supposed to bring cake. Tomorrow it's coming. You'll see.
Throw no.
Sorry?
Throw no.
Cake?
No. The notion.
Indian passport.
What are we willing to throw out? What are we willing to not throw out?
Maybe me.
Me. Okay, keep the me. Keep the me. And throw everything else.
Me doesn't exist without anything.
Yeah, that's
else.
right. See, no too much.
To know even when things too much. Yeah.
Nucleus. Tissue.
I think I do. You want to drive?
There's a box there.
To know even one thing is to know too much. I liked her report on that. She said, I was listening to this from Germany or wherever she was. She's like, what is he going on about? This stuff is so strange, you know? Something like this.
So mental. Yeah.
And then she said, no, come on, he's my master, he must know what he's talking about. And I said to her that in one satsang I actually said this. Come on guys, I actually know what I'm talking about. And then I said, no, I don't know anything at all. What do you know that you're not willing to give up on? Father, just want to expose, I don't know what's going on, such a pull to make conclusions about feelings, how this body moves, and senses, especially the seeming negative ones, the negative feelings like loser, the selfish one, anger, jealous, weak one. The seeming power of this seems too surprising, almost like they don't belong here. I see, these don't define me. And it doesn't matter if what is coming up belongs to the body-mind construct or not. Dismounting of the donkey. Seems like I've wasted your time and everything you have given also. The tendency is to give it all up, but this is not true give up. It's only a running away. It's like sneaking out for another job interview. Yes. This self-judgment, self-diagnostics, you see, is really not about the self. All of this I'm not worthy or I'm very worthy, the entire spectrum doesn't mean anything. You see, at the center of it is still the me, the donkey which says, this way is right, this way is wrong, I should be like this, I should be like this, or I should not have been like this, or should have been like that. You see? Who's at the center of all of this? So it's good to expose and just throw it out, throw it away. Just empty, empty, empty. Maybe for a few days I should not say empty, empty, empty. I should say the opposite. Just think about it. Keep thinking. Just believe your next thought.
That's what we were thinking all the time.
No, maybe now if I say it, then you'll stop doing that. I shouldn't have said that one. All you have to do is believe your next thought.
Reverse psychology.
In a way.
We're not teenagers, emotionality is the most.
Really? This is blowing my mind. Thank you for the director's cut of the movie. Love you and angry with you, but most of all grateful. Very sweet message. It still feels like there needs to be a waking up. Like when I wake up in the morning, I clearly recognize last night's dream as dream. I am not troubled. It is a strong shift. Shouldn't the same apply to this recognition? Too many conditions, my dear. If you have conditions, then you are bound by them, you see. It should be like this. It should not be like this. This is what freedom should be like. Let go of all these conditions, notions. None of them are bringing any value to you. See? You might feel like they are helping me, they are telling me what true freedom will be like. See? But they don't. It is not that. What does the 5 minutes ago seem like now? Doesn't it seem like a dream? So, all that needs to be recognized, all the truth which is here is actually apparent to you in your simplicity. If you put conditions on top of your simplicity, of your innocence, then it can seem to get lost in a way. Then I am not willing to give up that somehow, let me read again, I am not willing to give up that I somehow see this life unfold in front of me. If it is the truth, you don't need to have a concept of it. You see, that's all I'm saying. That to sit, you don't need the concept, I have to sit. To drink water from the glass, you don't have to have the concept of drink or water or glass. It might feel like we do. That's why I take the example of the infant who can drink milk without having the idea I am drinking or I have to drink. You see? And in a way, it is a representation of how we've taken our insights and made concepts out of them. You see? But if even our spiritual insights needed the aid of the spiritual concepts, then they would not be valuable, you see. Now, I will invite you to forget about front and back. You see? I am not willing to give up that I somehow see this life unfold in front of me. Okay? So these spatial boundaries, these spatial terms like front and back actually are not your experience. I know that we use these very terms in satsang ourselves, that life is unfolding in front of you, but those are provisional truths, which also have to be let go of them. Where are you that you will have a front of you? To have a front means that you must have a location, you see, and a size. See? So we just blowing away this concept together, because just the fact that you are able to identify it and say, I'm not willing to give this up, you see, already in your heart you are seeing that it's not the truth, it is just a conceptual, provisional truth at best. Now, where are you that you can have something in front of you? You must be behind that, no? What is in front of you, you must be behind that. Did you find yourself there, behind something? Where are you? Where? What's in front of you?
There's no position, so we can't.
No position.
Yeah.
No position. And no object for which that position could have been. You see, in the sense that when we say no position, it can feel like, okay, I'm just like an object in floating in space or something like that, like, in limbo. But it's not even that. It's just like there is no object to which position and duration can be defined here. You see? You see? So when we say that all of this in life is unfolding in front of you, it is a way of saying that you remain untouched by it. Nothing can happen in the display of light and sound which can actually hurt you or touch you. That is the feeling behind this pointing. But if we end up taking it literally, that I am okay sitting somewhere and all of this is in front of me. That's why all metaphors have their boundaries. Like the movie metaphor, sometimes you can get into this idea that, okay, this is literally a movie and I'm watching it from somewhere. You see, it's not like that. All these things, pointers, have boundaries, but we have to let go of them also. So for some time maybe we can let go of referring to ourselves in spatial terms. You don't know where you are. So you don't know what all now. You don't know what you are, where you are, who you are, definitely not why you are. Any other W's left? When you are, yeah.
Do you know at least?
Not at all.
Really not. I mean, sorry, no.
This one once she told me, I was sharing one time with her, with all of you actually, that I had a dream in which, in that dream I was very identified to this land, some land. So this one she said, you shared that, Father, and I'm starting to feel some doubt about you. In the dream he is identified.
You didn't forget that.
Super Sage level 7.
That was kind of a serious question now. Like, you don't know who, like, I mean, this is my idea that I think, like, Mujiji, of course, in a way, awareness is not maybe the exact word, but you know what it is, you know what you are. You know, that's still...
Yeah. That's why I was saying to you that we feel that if we let go of this, what we know, you see, we get lost or we are like lost. But actually, but I don't want to say that as a sort of reassurance, you see, in the sense because you will start knowing that also mentally, like there's a deeper knowingness, which is like, you know, like that. So, in a way, doubt is better.
Okay.
You see? In a way, doubt is better because otherwise you will have a very strong concept of what that letting go should mean and what it will lead you to, and that itself becomes then a difficult concept to shake off.
To me, actually, when you ask questions like this, I mean,
Where are you?
So the word where itself actually presupposes some kind
Location.
of... So that
Yeah.
loses its...
Yes.
If you
Exactly.
leave the concept of this, that loses... I mean, you can't answer.
It's not applicable.
It's not like
Yeah.
you will know one day what you are.
Yes.
Because it's not possible.
Why is it not possible?
In the sense, the concept of where
Doesn't apply.
doesn't apply. So
Because? Why?
because where means if you are able to answer means you will say here or whatever some
Yes.
space. That doesn't
Correct.
make sense.
Yeah.
So where itself doesn't make
Apply.
sense. Or what?
Yes.
Or who?
Yes.
Who also doesn't
Yes.
make sense.
Yes.
Who means will you be able to count
Yes.
this, that or
Yes.
somewhere? You won't.
Yes.
So if somebody knows that.
So to who doesn't it make sense? You see?
Yeah, but you can't point to somewhere to who. Yeah.
Then you're just playing, okay? So when you say, for me, it just doesn't make sense. What is that referring to?
It's just me, but not in entity like.
Then non-entity you. Huh?
Of course, there's something like so when you when I you know,
When
see the if I drop the concept of and it's just for me it's just an imagination if at all. That if I don't answer I in terms of an entity, I can't answer that question.
If you don't answer it as an entity, then you can't answer it, is it? What?
Because in the sense the who will not make sense to me. And I'm saying only in terms of perhaps intellectual understanding or
No, it's
my
okay.
imagination.
Yeah, it's good. No, I like your sharing. See?
Yeah.
So, you said very nice. You said who, what, where, when. All of these don't make sense. And then you said to me. That's what we are just looking at together. What does it apply to? Where is the me reference pointing to now?
So it's a presence, but I can't say where it is. See, for saying who, I have to say in terms of something else.
To say who, you have to say in terms of something else. Like even when you say I am existing, then
I think where is a little more easier to.
Where is it?
It's more easier to.
Yeah.
So if I say where, I have to say in terms of somewhere.
yes. Do you have to put a spatial sort of boundary and say this is
And which doesn't make sense.
the
So who is a little more difficult.
yeah.
But it's a similar thing.
That's another thing. So the one to whom it doesn't make sense, you see, is not spatial in a way, is what you're saying.
Yeah. To which space doesn't make sense.
To which space doesn't make sense because it itself is not participative in a way in these spatial boundaries. Okay? Now, what is not in space?
So this is the space doesn't make sense. What's not in space doesn't make any sense.
This is
If you
good.
come out of space.
This is good. This is very good. What does make sense?
Actually, nothing.
Even nothing doesn't. This is a very beautiful answer. And it's also completely self-referential, isn't it? In the sense that even makes no sense. You're not left with that, oh, it doesn't make sense. You're not left with that conclusion that nothing makes sense. Even that loses its sense. It's not that you come from meaning to meaninglessness. You see? It's just that the term itself is lost. You see? Our boundaries themselves are lost. You see?
So this is when she says somebody should know, you should know, who am I then? In fact, I have the other way around doubt. If somebody says, because who am I looks like a trap. You say, who am I, then you don't know. So to me, it will be the other way.
Yeah. Bhagavan is watching. It's very beautiful report. Does it really look to you at all that I know anything at all?
The only thing I can hold on to, like somebody at least knows not knowing this somebody, But it's okay.
The Guruji has said many times, I know nothing. I say almost every day, I know nothing. It's like, but he must be really actually knowing.
I think we all have to think that you know something at least. Some people know, I just keep on saying it. Why would we be here? You're a nice person also in a way. Careful.
Because the idea is that the ones who know more have more value in a way. Yeah, that's why the whole this construct of this world in a way is this additive thing, right? The more you have, you see, money, knowledge, a relationship, anything, health, you see, the more you have, that seems like that is the better position. You see? Now, like I've taken examples where the sages have said, you know nothing. You see, and you feel like, just messing with us. You see? Because actually they're pointing you to this. You see? That's why we call it the childlike innocence, or Jesus would have said, only the babes will enter the kingdom of heaven. Because they're empty of all of this. This is more reductive. It's a great forgetting rather than a new knowing. So if there is a notion that we come to Satsang so that one day we can know what he knows, then we can safely throw that away. I know it can be a bit, but I came here to know, it's like that. But if you feel like one day we will know what he knows.
So you are crossing over the doors for coming here, sir.
Closing. Just come and have some chai.
Guide coming all the way from Trichy.
Come all the way from Kerala, come all the way from Germany, come all the way from Canada. And he's just like, and I have nothing to add to you. See? In fact, I might take away whatever you think you have. But that can also seem like at least he'll do that for me. Like he will value add in my life by taking away everything. Very slippery mind.
Add value to my life.
My life, add value to my life by taking away
Mm.
this. You see, that additive sense is still there. That I must get something. You see, this clinging, this getting. You see, clinging is suffering. The idea of getting is suffering.
This is seen, but it's still there. So, it's
Seeing
seen.
is enough.
It seems like it's okay. I want to do it.
Yeah, seeing is enough, because if you make a position about it, then that will also just be seen. Actually, sometimes I feel like we also have got used to this style of talking, you see? In a way. Like if you were just like completely fresh about it, you see, and we did not know any of this terminology. Now, tell me how a child would say that. Where is it seen?
So, again, what I
And
tried
you say, like, also it's become a habit for us
Yeah.
being in satsang that I see it. It is like that. But what you see actually? What do you see? Yes.
we just add on more. Like, it's just a shortcut, but I think even a child might say, I observe it. But when we say, I observe it, it's seen, we also know, okay, it's seen, so, you
See,
know.
there's a slight difference though. A child would look at the phenomenal appearance of something, and if he has a vocabulary, he'll say something red, something blue, something, like that, like this. But we have got a lot more sophistication than that. We're able to interpret and say, okay, this is what it is like. This is, we draw conclusions which are not even phenomenal. You know what I'm saying, in a sense? That, like in the innocence of a child, you say, I saw a green mouse on the ceiling or something like that. You see? But what do? We make sophisticated conclusions about ourselves. You see? That this is still here for me or something like that. But actually, where are you seeing that? You can put on the fan a bit or the AC or something.
It's the middle one. Push it down.
Yeah.
Push down.
Like, okay, let's see now. Let's just see now. What are we seeing? Just whatever you see, you say it out.
Ananda-ji.
Okay, you see a body called Ananta, then?
Just see or sense?
Huh?
Sense? I sense the fan, the air.
Yes, perceive. Okay, let's say perceive through the air of the fan. Then the room is perceived. Then
This adoration of what seems, what's
the feeling of adoration or devotion is. Then
Dry eyes.
drive, perceive. Me? Who says a me? Seeing, we're just talking about perceiving. We're not interpreting, not concluding. Nobody's ever seen this one. It's just a conclusion. It's just an interpretation. A pink elephant is less ludicrous than the ego. Because at least you have some sense. So if you've perceived something that we call elephant, you perceive the color pink. You see, this me is just completely made up. He owns a body or she owns a body. She has or he has relationships. he or she has money in the bank, you see, and wants freedom. Who is this? So either we see that, like he was saying, the whole thing makes no sense. Forget about it. We investigate and then, okay, what? Who? It's the same thing.
More and more as like there's this broader perspective, but like there's still the reference to kind of a character, like this
Yes,
acting
reference to
out
this
of
me.
like. But it's not as if it's a personal reference. It's a very, very distant kind of like.
Take example. I'm not getting you.
Just like a character in a play
Yeah.
is playing out,
Yeah.
and there's a witnessing or a observation that this is happening, and it's like a
Yeah.
very kind of like, okay, sometimes there's more involvement, less involvement, depending on the drama that's playing out, you know, like it's.
So
it's not a real.
how come we say a character in the play, not just all these characters in the play?
Yeah.
Because that seems central, like always around, like
yeah.
that. As
So
soon
that,
as
like,
waking state is there, it's this character.
the heroine or the hero of the
Yeah,
play,
yeah.
and there's like
Yes.
more emphasis placed there,
Yeah.
and then it's relating to all the other characters.
Yeah. So because
So
it
that's
seems
not stopping,
more
like, or
central, more persistent, that's why.
yeah,
But every other character is as much a character in
yeah,
the play. yes.
exactly. So it's all seen like that, and more and more. But it doesn't seem to be a problem that way.
Yeah. That's good. What does seem to be the problem?
No problem. But
Okay.
well, I mean, unless it's just seeming to take place in the play. So all kinds of problems take place in the play.
Yes,
All kinds
that's why
of
play.
drama.
There's no
all
play
kinds
without
of, exactly.
seeming problems.
Yeah. So there might be the appearance of problem,
Yeah.
and solving the problem,
Yeah.
and getting new problems. But it's not such a big deal. Like not totally neutral all the time. It seems to be like just like any play. If it's a good one,
Yeah.
then you can kind of be drawn into it or rooting for something, hoping. Like an interaction of some kind seems to be taking place, or an interest maybe of some kind seems to be there. It's not totally
There is no totally.
disassociated.
There is no totally.
So the reference, because we're talking about the me and the reference and pointing, so it's just like a light one.
Light.
So it doesn't have to be totally like
Yes.
annihilated.
There is no totally.
Maybe one day.
No.
No, never. No, but what I mean is not this enlightenment idea, but the death of the body. The end of the play, curtain call.
That is tonight also.
Yeah, that's true.
We're just saying that within the reference point of this sense of being, there is no totally. In your reality, it's always total anyway, even the existence of this being. See, in this phenomenal appearance, whether we call it dream state, waking state, whatever state we might call it, there is no such thing as 100% anything. When the state goes, then finish anyway. When that whole gradation is gone, there is no total or partial or any, all these reference points are only belonging to the waking state.
But when you're saying throw out the me,
Yeah.
it's like it's not total. It's not
Yes.
like gone. Okay, it's gone, totally gone.
Yes. 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 For anyone in this play, any expression of consciousness, there is no total.
So what's being really thrown out is this sort of personal identity with it, like, or reference to
Exactly.
it as a person.
Exactly.
Reference.
And then why it is important to make this point that it is, don't expect it to be total, is because in that totality, in that expectation of totality, we pick up a lot of, again, personal concepts, like I'm not there yet, or there's a lot for me to go still. You see these kind of ideas. Total can be a very, very strong conclusion you can hold us. Because there's so much checker guy in that. It's constantly checking on how free you are. Is it total or not? Yes, yes, Father, it all feels like a dream most of the time. It feels like my attention is creating the view and sensations experienced. All these insights are very good. You will start to see more and more that it will become more and more obvious that this play of existence, only what attention goes to, that seems to exist, and therefore that itself seems to be the light that is a causative light in a way for these appearances. But it's okay. Just lightly, playfully, you see, these insights can come. Cat says, may I come up? Yes, my dear. Where are you? Okay. I don't see you, my dear. We just hear a little bit, but it's not so clear. I'm going to mute now just to check if it works.
Okay. Can you see me? I was having a bit of trouble with my internet a second ago. How about now? Is it good?
Yes, it's good now. It's good now. This is good. I'm going to mute now so we can hear you better then.
Father, happy to be here as always. Happy to see you. I'll just go right to it. Everything that you say, I believe it. At least I believe that. I'm not. Can you hear me okay? Everything okay?
We heard you till I'm going to get right to it, and then there was a long break, and then I heard everything that I'm saying. You are actually you believe it. Is that it?
Time of day where everybody is online. We just starting our day in America. It's about 8 o'clock here, so I think you're okay. So hopefully you can hear me. I'll start over. I feel like I've been basically faking it till I make it kind of thing. Because I know what you say is true, and I know it. So what more can be said, right? So I try to be happy, and well, not even try to be, but I try to be happy and express love, and it might not be the best thing, but at the moment it feels like this is what should happen, right? But there is a feeling of I feel like I'm faking it because I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make this happiness happen. I'm trying to make this peace happen. This peace that I already know that is here, and that's how I feel. And sometimes knowing I feel like this can be discouraging, very discouraging. But then I try not to touch it. That's seen. This discouraged feeling is seen. What Father say is true. All you have to do is trust the guru's words. I know that, but then that establishment thing that we talked about before, and then I tell myself, well, don't interpret it. Don't interpret it. And then I'm like, why is this narrative still going on? And then I just be like, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Still waiting for an outcome of just what I think needs to happen. And I just feel like I'm faking this till I make it. And I can say, like, I know I'm the self. I know I'm the lights on. I know I'm peace. Whatever Father is, I know I'm that myself. I'm Ramana. I'm Muji. I'm all that. But it's something that's not that. And I don't want to be a fraud. I just want whatever needs to be. And then I get discouraged because I'm like, if you want me to stop, am I just carrying on? Should I keep going? Okay. I don't want to be a fraud. And I just want to have a clean heart, clear mind. I just want to, how things supposed to be. And I will be quiet now. I'm mute.
It's a good report again, my dear. It's a beautiful report. What can happen is that the mind makes these two separate opposites, you see. Like, they're all the masters, and I'm like them, there is no difference. Father said that we are one, we are the same, you see. And then the opposite of that, which is just, I'm just such a fraud, I'm faking it, it's not true because I still have this, and I get angry, and sometimes this happens, you see, so I'm just a fraud, and this is not really, I'm not being full of integrity. So, what I really want to say to all of you actually is just drop both the opposites. And even if it is a bit uncomfortable, you see, to drop the opposites and don't know where you are standing. You see? Like you're neither like this or like that. Neither full of integrity nor a fraud. Neither like a sage nor like a seeker, nor not completely truthful, not completely lying. You see? Neither of these. Just drop all of these opposites because all of them are just ideas. You see? And it's okay to be a bit wobbly, not knowing where you stand. Okay? It can feel a bit wobbly, not knowing where you stand. Am I this way or that way? Okay? But in this not knowing, it feels like stress. It feels like tension of not knowing. Actually, it's this tension of not knowing in a way which does a good clean-up job. You see? And then that starts to feel more and more natural. Then, if I tell you, no, you must now make a conclusion about yourself, you will say, no, Father, no, I am just so happy not knowing, you see. Am I a sage or am I a liar? I am just so happy not knowing. You see? So, although initially it might feel a bit like without these conclusions I am lost. This is limbo. I don't know whether this is left or right. What is Father saying? I'm confused. You see, it'll feel a bit strange and wobbly, but as you come to that and you start getting used to this spaciousness in a way, then you will find it very difficult to make a conclusion about yourself. Whether you're a fraud or you're no different from a sage, you will not find it uh, easy to make these conclusions. You see? In fact, you will find that your mouth will speak lots of things. You see? But you find that inwardly you're not attached to any of those things. You see? So you just feel like, just like you watch other mouths speak, this mouth will also speak. Right now, I know it can feel like I'm speaking these words, I'm making these conclusions. You see, it can feel like that. But as you allow yourself to remain without a conclusion about yourself, you see, between, like I say to you, many of you now, I'm neither speaking the truth nor am I lying. This is where your mind cannot go. Now, what can happen is that it can seem too strange, it can seem too weird. So then, Father, what am I supposed to do? You see? Is this fine? What is happening? Is it fine or not? You see? But I'm saying throw out all these opposites. What am I supposed to do, not do? Is it fine, not fine? Am I living with integrity or am I lying? Just can you throw them out? In fact, they are thrown out already naturally. You see? They are naturally all gone. So don't pick them up. Let's see what you're saying now. Let me mute.
Good, good. Can you hear me? So Father, I know this, and that's a discouraging part. About everything, because I know this, and I even told you about my experience where everything was gone. I was light.
You have to wait for a minute. You have to, maybe I stop you there for a moment. You see? Now, don't know this. You see? Because that is also a conclusion. Like, drop all knowing and not knowing also. Because anything that you know will be suffering. You see? Like, it is just the past, it's just a corpse. You see? What we are saying that I know this is because you had some experiences of this, you've been in satsang before, you heard me say this, and you can feel like you can make a conclusion about this saying I know this. So don't know this, because leave that. You see, leave knowing and not knowing. Then you cannot be either encouraged or discouraged. You see, it is empty of these opposites.
Good. Can you hear me? Good. Father, I want I want very much to be obedient to what you're instructing me to do. When I was folding towels when I was at work a few years ago, and I know this is the past, and I used Muji's guidance to what I believe is actually find myself. That I felt like I had a notion. There was an experience where there was a notionless existence, right? There was just space and all that, and I know that's just an experience. But that experience, I would like to recognize as what I was, what I am. That with no thought, no nothing, right? And the fact that that happened, I believe that that's how it should be, if that makes sense. Like the fact that he pointed there once before, and then that kind of just faded. Like, I guess that's like the point that I'm trying to be established in. Is that making sense? So the fact that anything else, the mind and all this different kind of stuff, I'm like, that came up. Why is it still coming up? I don't know. I just feel very, very confused and very discouraged, honestly. And I promise I want to listen to what you say and throw everything out and no stick. I don't know what more I can do. And I try even not to do nothing, but I'm not satisfied with that. And I feel like I'm even wasting your time. I don't want to come before you no more with this.
Good. Good. So, this is very good you point this out, you see. This is very good you point this out, because just like this, what can happen for many of us is that we can have a spiritual experience where it can feel like, that is it, it's so clear, there's no me, you see. And then everything in our life becomes a reference point to that so-called experience. We might even call it an awakening experience, you see. But that is not freedom. Freedom is not to have a constant reference point about something in the past, because we cannot truly say anything about the past which we can truly say it is true. You see? So if something needs a reference point coming from the past, then it is better that we let go of it, even if it seemed like the best experience we ever had. Because the truth which is being pointed to in satsang is not an experience. An experience can be a byproduct of that, but it in itself is not an experience. You see? But it is our spiritual experiences many times which can become like chains around us, because our conclusions rely on those past experiences. You see? So, everything is naturally thrown out. You don't have to do anything at all now. It is gone now. Yeah? Just wave if you're still with us, because your photo is very still. Okay, but if he watches this recording later, what I want to say is that, you see, all that I've said, all that I've pointed to, I've said, forget about the opposites, all that is naturally just here now. Now the mind will just come and offer some conclusions. It will say you're like this, you're being like that. Just let them come and go. And don't believe the mind when it says, it is like that, this is effort, am I the doer? All these smart things will come also from the mind. Just watch all of this traffic come and go. You don't have to cross the road, you don't have to transcend anything, nothing at all. It's not complex. The mind will make it complex. Just know that if it starts to all seem getting a bit difficult and complex, know that this is the mind. Just step back, let the traffic come and go. All the opposites will come and go. You don't have to bother with them at all. You see? You can come up as many times as you want. You don't have to make these conclusions that I don't want to come, I want it to be now. All of this can just come and go. And life can unfold in its own natural way. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't be soft on yourself. Just don't have any position about yourself. It's all good, my dear. I hope you'll watch this recording, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Adrian had asked some time ago what's on my shirt. This is love, 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 love. And it's signed Swami Chinmayananda. We got this from an ashram in India called called Chinmaya Vibhuti, where we had a retreat once. So it says love, love, love. And on that note, we can end for today. Cat is back now, but we can. There's a recorded message for you, my dear. You can watch this satsang, and you can come back again soon. I'd love to hear from you more. Okay. So, love to all of you. Thank you all so much for being in satsang today. Sadguru Shri Moji Baba ki Jai.
Sadguru Shri Ananta Ji ki Jai.
Guru Kripa Kevalam.